If you have ever used the spotting tool in Lightroom, I've probably got some techniques that you haven't seen before. Stay tuned. Hello everybody and welcome. I'm Rusty Nelson. Today we're going to talk a little Lightroom. Now, some time ago I got certified with Adobe in Lightroom as an expert, and over the years I've kind of picked up my own techniques, tips, tricks, and that's what I'm going to try to do in this little series with Lightroom. I'm not going to regurgitate the manual to you. So if that's the type of thing you'd like to see, please let me know down in the comments. If you have your own suggestion on how to do things, man, I really want to see them down there because I'm always into learning new ways of doing things. But if it is, go ahead, please follow the little guide down below and subscribe, ring the bell, and at a minimum, give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. But today, we're going to talk about the spot removal tool. Now, we're not going to talk about everything it can do, but we're going to talk about how to remove spots and some of the tips and tricks I have for you regarding that. Here we go. All right, to get started in this, first thing we want to do is get Lightroom set up correctly. Now, I know that most of you have your own way of setting up Lightroom, but this may help a little bit in some other areas and show you a couple of tips and tricks on how you can set up Lightroom. But let's get me off of here. Sorry about the beeping. And this is normally how I have things set up. When I know that I'm going off to go print an image, and I use Q image to print, in fact, there's probably a discount code down below if you want to use that if you're interested in Q image, or go over to some of the other videos and check it out. But anyway, I will color code my master files red. So in other words, I never touch that usually, but spotting is the last thing that I do. So we'll just leave this red for now. Now, the best way to get Lightroom set up is select the image you're going to work with, go over to develop, and on the left-hand side, before we close it up so we have a larger area to work with, go ahead and hit fit and 2:1. And this is because when I do my spotting, I zoom in on the image 2:1, and we'll close the file folder side off. Also, we'll close down the bottom. Now we get much more real estate to work with. You can close the top off also. On the right-hand side, something that I see a lot of people don't do is they'll leave this side in the develop module all closed up like this. A lot of people don't realize that when you take this and you pull it out, in fact, you pull it out pretty far, but the further you pull it out, the finer these sliders become, the movement. In other words, it's a lot easier to make small corrections. So we'll just double click on exposure and bring it back to where we started from. So pull it out a little bit and you'll have a finer slider to work with. Then go ahead and select the spot removal tool. It's this little circle with an arrow on it. Now, this is how you want to set up for probably 95% of your spot removal. You want to have heel selected. You want to have feather all the way down to 0, and I'll explain that in a second. Opacity all the way up, and the size will obviously vary depending on the spot. Now, when you select heel over here on the right, Lightroom takes and matches the texture, the shading, and the lighting of the sampled area that's going to fix the spot. So it takes the texture, the lighting, and the shading over to the spot that it's going to fix, and does not take the color. The color is selected from around the actual image. If you take clone and you use clone, it takes everything over and dumps it right on top of the spot. So that's the reason we want heel selected. The reason that we want feather selected, so in other words, as we move this to the right, you can see feathered area around the center spot. The problem is a lot of times as it brings over the texture, lighting, and shading, it tends to blend in what is in the surrounding area. And sometimes in that feathered area, it becomes a little blurry. It almost looks like somebody put Gaussian blur onto it. So go ahead and keep your feather down to 0. Now that doesn't mean that this is going to be good for every time, but I would say 98% of the time for me, that's exactly how it works. The other thing you need to look for is right down here below the image, down in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see the visualize spots. Now, when we turn this on, it's going to kind of work like a masking tool. And when it's turned all the way down, you see very few things. And as we slide it up, you're going to start to see things turn black and white. This right here, this is a spot, and that's what a spot looks like. And that, for the most part, is what you're looking for. Now we'll press the Z key and bring it out. The other key you need to know about is the A key. And this will make your life really easy, this A key, because what the A key does when we select it is bring back your original image. So it turns off and on the visualized spots. So take the slider and go ahead and in those areas like up in the sky until you start getting interference from regular parts of the image. And that's about where we're going to be. Now, as you can see on this image, you're going to see a lot of spots on here because this is right after I got done guiding a storm chasing tour. We got caught in a dust storm and everything I owned had to be cleaned out. So let's go ahead and now I'm going to show you, go ahead and spot this, but I'm going to show you one more trick that's this really will help you out. I can't tell you, let's go ahead and push Z and we'll bring this in, how many times in selecting the space bar, people go, oh, yeah, and you can just go around and look all over the image for spots. Now, obviously, we see some spots there. I'm going to show you a really great way to do this. Now, for you Mac users, I believe that the keys you're going to have to know are home and page up and down. So for Windows user, which I'm on Windows, we have a home key most of the time and we have a page up and down. For the Mac users, I believe the home page is the FN or function key plus L. And for the up and down page, it's the FN key plus the up and down arrow. You want to select Z or go to that 2:1 zoom and go ahead and hit home. And what it's going to do is take you to the top left of the image. This is the great part about this. We're sitting up, if we zoom this in, we're sitting up in the top left-hand part of the image. Select the A key and we come in and out of the image and the visualize spots tool. Now I'm going to fine tune this down here on the left one more time. Right about there, and you can start, like I told you, there's a lot of spots on this image. Now, really, the only thing you have left to do is go ahead and hit the spots. Now, you're going to want to be just slightly larger than the spot itself. And if you come over in 2:1 and you don't see the spot removal circle, just see an X, you'll find out if we zoom back out again, it's there. But you need to make the circle much smaller. And you can do that by hitting the bracket, the left and the right will actually zoom it in and out the circle. Or you can go ahead and use the thumb wheel. Here's the spot. Let's use this one because it's really big. You want to bring it down to the exact size. Now remember, feather is at 0. And the size is as you need it. And opacity is all the way up. And if you hit A, it's easy to see, and we need to be just a little bit bigger. Go ahead and click, and you can see right there, come in and out, and it is gone, and you can't see anything. Now, This spot down here is very hard to see, but with the visualize spots on, you can easily see it. Go ahead and click, and then I come in and out to make sure I got it without leaving a mark. In and out, in and out. And we're using the A key to come in and out. And like I said, this spot right here, you probably would miss that being in the clouds, but it's easy to see that little unique circle. Probably make this a little bit smaller and click on it, and boom, it's gone. Now here's the unique, here's another one right here. So that pretty much gets them all. You can also find little specks that may show up at a later date just by looking around. In fact, if I was really doing this for real, I may come in and pull that out too, whatever that is. I'm not quite sure, but a lot of times it'll show up on a print and will not show up while you're doing this. Here we go. This is the cool part. So we're up in the top left-hand corner. All you need to do is hit page down, and it moves down into the next area. This area is pretty cluttered. You may want to retune this, but it looks pretty good. Come in and out, and I look at it this way. And then come in and out. And the reason I say that is if we look right here, there are what looks like, if it was a negative, I say it's a scratch in the negative. Go ahead and select that. And that's gone. And you can't really see that. I'm not quite sure what those marks were, but we'll go ahead and take those out. Then we go ahead and just hit page down again. Don't really see anything there. Go ahead and hit page down. And when we come all the way down to the bottom of the page and you click page down, it goes right to the top of the page and sections off that part. And it just makes it really easy to go through this. Spot, A to come in and out and look at the image. There's another spot. Go ahead and look at that, and it's gone. One more spot here, in and out, hit page down. And see, there's some kind of little, I don't know what these are that are on there. I can't figure that out, but that would take some work on a regular image. Come in and out, and we just hit page down, and we're just running through this really quick. This makes it so easy without running around and searching all over the place. Spot, in and out to check it with the A button. And there was one spot. Now you can see how easy this is. Come down to the bottom. Now we're all the way up at the top corner. We'll go ahead and bang these out. We know this is working really well. A in and out. I don't want to keep you all day doing this, but here's the great part. Come out, page down. Page down. And it'll make you see this. I wouldn't like, now naturally I wouldn't have an image like this if I was going to print it, but just go ahead and take that bird out. And I never even saw that there before. So that's it. If you want, you can go back home, Z to come back out, and there's our image completely spotted. That is the great thing about this. That page up, page down, and using the home makes you cover the whole image. That little tip of using the up and down, the page up and down key has really helped me out a lot, because there's nothing worse than whether you're making a print 16 by 20 or 40 by 60, doing that print and then finding there's a little spot there, or putting it out on the internet and finding that little spot afterwards. Anyway, if you like this, I'm going to do a bunch more of these Lightroom, kind of my technique of doing things, and I hope that little tip helped you out. If you would, please go ahead and subscribe. Really appreciate it, and hit the notification bell, and especially the thumbs up. It all helps. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Oh, yeah, if you want to use that Q image printing discount, go ahead and fire that up, or jump over to one of the other videos, because that's another thing that'll really help you out. Anyway, my name is Rusty Nelson. Thanks for stopping by. And remember, your camera is a great excuse for adventure. I'll see you later.